Hey everyone, welcome to 2020.
2020.
Yeah, this is the first episode of New to Weeaboo for the year, and the first one of January. Wait, what?
First one?
Yes.
What do you mean by first one?
Yeah, we're actually going to be going bi-weekly from here on out, at least for a while. I'm not sure how long will this last, but hopefully for a long time. We're going to be going bi-weekly from here on out, so pretty much from here on out, every other Wednesday we'll be releasing a new episode, and that's the plan, unless things change at some point, which they can. I can't predict the future.
We don't have 2020 vision.
So welcome to the episode for January 15th, 2020. I am Nemesis, and I'm joined by Alca7raz.
Yo.
Stuff happened in the world of anime.
Oh my god.
In the world of anime in particular, there was that one thing with the Gynax that happened. There was like the president got arrested for some sexual thing. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then, then the whole bunch of allegations about the company as a whole dropped, and it's like, whoa.
Oof.
Yeah, Gynax kind of is like, yeah, that was right after, that like happened like right after we recorded the last episode, but before we released it. So it's like I said, nothing's really notable happened.
Nothing notable.
Something notable happened.
But yes, Murphy's Law.
And on top of that, I got a couple new anime for my actual personal collection, like actual copies. I got Zombieland Saga, that finally came out.
Finally.
And I got Girls Last Tour, Princess Principal.
God, you're a weeb.
Yeah, I got quite a few of them. Those are nice. So, yeah. Anime.
That's what we're here
Still
for.
going for 20. I'm excited for a lot of stuff coming out this year because like Railgun T.
Oh, yes.
Euro Camp, the Room Camp, the little spin-off thing they did doing. The spin-off for Madoka Magica.
Those definitely looking forward to.
There's a couple other. There was another one that was like just popped up. That I was like, that looks really interesting. I'm trying to remember what it was, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on. It's looking really good. And possibly Zombieland Saga Season 2? I think, actually, Promised Neverland Season 2 I think is supposed to come out this year.
Oh, Promised Neverland.
Which, by the way, the Crunchyroll Anime Awards will still be going as of the release for another couple days. Promised Neverland is up for a whole bunch of awards, including Anime of the Year, so maybe you should vote for it.
Definitely worth at least something.
Like one of them is like one of the categories is Best Antagonist, Isabella. If you remember her. If you watched that, yeah. Best Girl for Emma, Best Overall Anime, I think Best OP, etc., etc. A lot of awards up for. I'd vote for it if I were you, but I can't tell you what to do exactly, but I can suggest things.
We can suggest, but we can't make you do things.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff. We do have a specific anime to talk about, which I did say what we were doing last time. And yeah, we're talking about Izetta, The Last Witch. It's somewhat older anime now. It's came out in October of 2016. So yeah, it was the fall 2016 anime.
That old.
Oh,
it's less than 4 years.
Yeah, about 3.5-ish years, a little less than. Spoiler free first. Just real quick overall. Izetta is about an alternate universe Earth where it's just before World War II or World War II just starting. And yeah, the Germanian Empire is invading a small country called Elstadt, and Izetta is a witch who more or less defends it from the invaders. That's the gist of
it, yep.
Real quick, I generally enjoy it. There's a couple problems here and there with it. It is somewhat violent. There are some fan service, but it's overall, I think, a pretty enjoyable anime.
I will echo pretty much those exact statements. I did definitely enjoy it, but I will say I'm not going to ignore that it does have some issues.
Yeah. But beyond that, yeah. So that's the quick spoiler-free version.
Yes.
You want to check it out beforehand. But yeah, so now we're going to go into the actual nitty-gritty of it. Yeah. So I rather liked Izetta. It was one of the first anime I watched like a couple years ago when I first, I guess, going ahead. Let's go ahead and give this anime thing a second chance. It was one of the first ones I watched after I got my Crunchyroll subscription. So there's that. It's like I said, it takes place in alternate universe World War II basically. Instead of so things like Germany, it's Germania, and the Britannia, the United States of Atlanta, and there's this country called Elstadt, which is the primary one, and whatnot. And that's the whole thing is right there. Is just this kind of country which can't defend themselves very well because they're a small country, is being invaded by Germania, who has already at this point invaded their version of Poland and whatnot, and taken over their version of France. I don't remember the alternate names, but they're there.
Yeah.
And the whole thing looks like it's all over until Izetta shows up after Princess Fine wakes her up, because those are the two main characters, Izetta and Fine.
Yeah. So Izetta was apparently captured by the
she was in like
Empire.
some tube thing, because they're kind of mirroring the whole real world, like Hitler's kind of minor obsession with the occult.
Yep.
Well, this person, whoever it is not Hitler. It's just the Emperor of Germania.
Yeah.
So she's a witch. Izetta is a witch.
Izetta is a witch.
And, the last witch even. Shock.
For two reasons, she's the last witch. One of them is because all the rest of them are dead, and then later on she makes sure that there's not going to be any others.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the main characters are teenagers. Izetta is about 15, which you can assume Fine is roughly the same age. They don't give you an age, but probably close, within a year or two. Yeah, or Fine's full name as princess is Ortfine Frederica von Elstadt.
Von Elstadt.
She's the crown princess of Elstadt.
Yep.
And the whole thing is her father is also dying. Well,
dies,
but she is dying at the beginning of the series.
Yes.
And she's also trying to seek help from the Allies because the Germanians are invading.
Yes.
But yeah, good luck, because they have their own problems.
Yep. And at this point, it mirrors so many things from World War II.
Yeah, at this point, the Germans seemed unstoppable at this point.
Germans seemed unstoppable, and the U.S., for the most part, was quote-unquote staying out of the war.
Oh, by the way, here's Britain. Here's some stuff, but...
Well, we're totally not involved in the war, but totally take our weapons, Britain. We'll totally give you those.
Yeah. But because this takes place in 1939, 1940 for the most part.
Yes.
Except other than the little brief scene at the beginning where we see Izetta and Fine as kids when they first met, because they were childhood friends and whatnot.
Yep.
And we see the whole thing is like Izetta is really devoted to Fine. Like, not just because she's the princess, but because like she's like her only friend.
Only friend, and I guess feels indebted. There's this feeling of like, I'm not worthy. I can't live up.
Izetta likes to really downplay any accomplishment she has, because she sees herself as lower than everyone else. She puts everyone else needs first. All this stuff. Just
intense devotion to Fine, and like I said, it's like she's trying to, I don't know, pay back to her for what she's done.
Yeah, it's because the whole thing was Fine saved Izetta when she was younger.
Yeah,
because Izetta was attacked by a bunch of townsfolk who were upset at her because I guess discovered she was a witch.
Yeah, it's something about they're blaming her for burning down the barn or something.
Yeah, and Fine took a stabbing for her.
Took a pitchfork to the side.
Yes. Yeah, saved her life.
So Fine saved Izetta's life, so Izetta feels indebted to Fine, and then Izetta, how many times does Izetta have to save Fine's life before Izetta finally realizes?
And also Fine's always apologizing to Izetta for dragging her into this war and everything. It's like these two are such martyrs for each other.
Crap.
They cannot stop martyring themselves. I'm so sorry. No, I'm sorry. Ah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Stop saying sorry. I'm sorry.
Exactly. This country of Elstadt is not real. It's not, unlike a lot every other country that's mentioned, it's not based on a real one.
No.
It's kind of it was like the Western Austria.
Yeah, that's what it not. They took a chunk out of Austria and called it Elstadt.
Yeah, which that's because of the surprise, lots of Germanic type architecture and whatnot. Not surprising because
that's the region.
Yeah, so those are the two main characters, like right there. They're pretty interesting. Their whole dynamic, because yes, there is a definite. This is one of those things where it's like there's romantic tension throughout the series. It's one of those. It's not subtle, but it's not super overt either.
What are you talking about? They're just gals being pals.
Shut up. Yeah. So it's pretty clear. It's like it's not like blatantly in your face, but they're not really hiding it either.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to sneak it in or just make it very subtextual,
It's pretty blatant that they have a thing for each other.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, the dancing scene, the broom ride, there's a lot about it.
There's
The scene where the two of them are just lying in bed, kind of staring at each other, staring each other's eyes while holding hands.
Yeah, that whole scene, and then the cutaway. It's like,
there's a lot. There's a lot there that suggests that the two of them were romantic, or about to be, or possibly, or may have been already starting to get into the beginnings of a romance.
Yeah. They're totally a thing.
Yeah, they're pretty devoted to each other.
Yeah,
and I mean, the people who made it confirmed. Yeah, they're supposed. If in case you were blind, yeah,
yeah,
they're together, more or less. They're of course not the only characters, duh.
Obviously.
I mean, there's
entire world populated by 2 people.
Yeah, there's Miller, who's he's like the Elstat's intelligence guy. It's kind of the spy intelligence guy. He's it's to say he's done a lot of less than nice things.
Right. Yeah, him. What is it? Sieghard?
Yeah.
Sieghard Müller?
Everyone just call him Miller.
Yeah.
Miller.
It's a U with an umlaut, so
Mueller.
Mueller?
No. Yeah, he does, including one time there was a soldier who figured out the a secret, and an Elstat soldier, he figured out what was going on, and
one of the secrets, yeah.
And he just straight up shot him.
Yep.
Just killed him because it's too dangerous for it's too dangerous for that secret to be out there. So
he killed the kid because it was just a young, very young soldier.
Yeah, and then he kind of was haunted by it, which causes him to die later.
Yeah. It's like, there's better ways to handle that.
Yeah, there's Bianca, the head of the Royal Guard. She's a fairly prominent figure. Yeah, she's very protective of Fine. She doesn't like Izetta initially because, like, who the heck are you?
Who the heck are you, and stay away from my princess.
And then, okay, you're cool. Yeah. You could possibly read, some people have read into this, which Bianca may also have a thing for Fine.
It's
vaguely there. It's very vague. This one is vague.
It's I guess somewhat vague. I mean, there's a lot of things that go, what are you doing?
But there's also she might have also had the same thing with someone else, which we'll get into them later. Kind of. That's a weird. There's Latte. Hey,
Latte.
Yeah. She's a very short maid.
Yep.
She's so short. She actually carries a stool around with her.
Keeps it strapped to her back. It's great
because she needs it. Otherwise, she can't do her job. There's the Atlantean, I guess.
Atlantean.
The American Elvira Friedman.
Right.
She's reported kind of becomes PR for Izetta.
Yep. She's also the source of the problems.
Yeah, she's also kind of
creepy.
Doesn't know personal space. Doesn't respect personal space.
And is creepy about it.
Yeah, because she just straight up went up to Izetta and just, okay, I'm gonna do a hands-on inspection of you. She's very hands-on.
Yeah, she groped her.
Yeah, which is kind of messed up.
Yeah, it is messed up. Especially the way they did it. It wasn't just like, I'm just gonna do my job.
Someone we know said, I hope she's secretly one of the Nazis, so she justify killing her.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's just it's fortunately that whole point that happened once
and then didn't really happen again.
Didn't come back.
Yeah,
doesn't make it okay.
Although she made several suggestive comments later, but
yeah.
Wasn't great that scene. That's one of the things about Izetta. Unfortunately, like, that stuff does appear here and there. We do have shots like that. Izetta's outfit sometimes seems to design specifically to make you look at her.
Yeah.
Even though she's 15. There was a shower scene with Fine. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yep. Like I said, it does have some problems, and that's the fan servicey bits. It's like, yeah.
I guess one of the antagonists who's really important is Berkman. Guy who's kind of the bad guy equivalent of Miller to a degree. He's very cunning and whatnot, and he's very smart. He figures out a lot of this stuff just by kind of logic
Yep.
Just kind of figuring out, oh, this such and such thing. This must be good. Because one of the things they did was like, you know, a lot of things, okay, Izetta defeated this entire German force, just defeated it by herself. So, you know, the thing would be, the initial reaction would be, keep her secret. Our secret weapon. But nope, this is publicized. We have a witch who can kick your butt.
Yep.
Tell the entire world. And he went, oh. And he figured out a lot of stuff like they know he figured out the fake out. He figured out there's a lot of her weaknesses, somewhat, or like there's got to be some sort of weakness here. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on here. And then later on, he defected.
Sort of.
But not because he had to change of heart, but more or less because the Emperor doesn't like the fact I'm really good at my job, and I'm going to be killed pretty soon.
Yep.
So I better bail now.
Yep.
My best chance for survival is if Elstadt wins.
Yep. His entire point of doing everything was just for himself.
Yeah. Which you can understand that point of view to a degree, but he's
still a horrible person.
Yeah, he's a terrible person. And that's the thing. I like that he never was redeemed or anything. He was never, you know, he's always a terrible person.
Yep.
And they work with him, but they don't like him.
Yeah, well, when I saw the defection part, I was worried that they were going to go, oh, he's going to defect and turn to the good side, and he's going to be a good guy. No. I'm having this, like, he's not redeemed. He's still a jerk. He's still a Nazi. Well, and he's not a good guy.
Arguably, he wasn't even really that, you know, even much of a Nazi. He just
he definitely supported and helped them.
Yeah, he's one of again, Bo, probably because his best chance for survival.
Doesn't excuse his actions, though.
That's like he also went to the Americans or the Atlanteans, because, well, remember, the U.S. was willing to forgive a lot of Nazis because they had something good for them.
Yep.
What was it? Operation Paperclip, I think it was called?
I think that was the name of that one.
The original? I think that was the original. And of course, Emperor Otto.
Yes, that Operation Paperclip is correct.
I thought so. Yeah, Emperor Otto.
1,600 scientists.
Somewhat based on Hitler.
Yes, somewhat.
He's also very eccentric. Yeah, he's clearly not, again, much like Hitler, very charismatic, but not exactly the greatest tactician.
Yeah.
And his reaction to losing the witch and everything, because there was another witch that showed up. His reaction to all the witches are gone. Oh well, let's move on.
Back to the original plan.
And then, just like a certain Führer, shot himself in a bunker.
Yep.
Yeah. Then there's Reichert Bisterfeld. He's a big character in many ways. He's kind of under Bergman's wing. He kind of winds up becoming a spy going into Elstadt to figure out some of the things that Bergman was suspecting, and met Bianca and all that stuff. There's this whole episode, there's more or less centers around him.
Yep.
Which, it's interesting. He is one of the bad guys.
He is.
And his story is weird because, like, you see it and you see glimpses of actual, you know, humanity and possible self-doubt here and there, but he never reforms or redeems. It's just, and he and Bianca kind of form a bit of a connection a little bit. It's kind of obvious. But then the realization of Bianca's, you know, oh, you're a spy.
Yep. And
she shoots him.
Again.
She's upset that she had to shoot him, but she shot him.
Yep. He got shot twice. Because the whole thing, because there's two spies. He met up with the existing spy to try and get into the castle and retrieve an item or information, anything they could. But they got caught in the castle and were, you know, a bunch of gunfire. They started to run away, and then he gave all this stuff to the other spy because he was already shot, and used that and then led the pursuers away from the other spy so he could get away. Didn't get away.
But then it turns out there was a third spy.
But it turns out there was a third spy.
Yeah, that was...
That was an interesting scene with that, because the whole... him starting to see things and that whole self-doubt. I was actually starting to hope that he would be one of the... Oh... we screwed up.
I actually wasn't too much, because I was like, you know what? Nazis are bad.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the whole thing was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm actually kind of again glad that they didn't do redemption for him either. It's just like there was no like, no pleading, no weird, no. That's just bam, dead. Off a castle rampart you go.
Yeah,
that was that. Yeah. So there's like those are like some of the more notable bad guys. Although there's the one more who's Sophie.
Sophie, what about the pilot?
Oh yeah, he's there too. He's kind of a weird one. He's like
he's notable.
Bastler, but he's notable, but not that notable. He like shows up in the first episode. He shows up again, then he shows up one last time. Where the three most important parts of his thing is like he was the initial contact with Izetta. Yeah, he was like the part of he was the one part of the squadron that got shot down by Izetta.
He was the lone survivor.
Then he led a thing where when they tried to trap Izetta and try to figure out her they just sacrificed a whole carrier just to figure out the stuff about Izetta, and then he was the one who shot Berkman in the end because when you found out Berkman was bailing.
Though I don't think Berkman.
No.
Oh right.
Berkman didn't die.
Yeah, Berkman
somehow survived, but
somehow
he definitely lost an eye. Not sure how that happened, but hey.
They don't explain how that one happened.
We just get he has the gun, we hear a gunshot, but nothing. And then later, he's, soon dead, but then you come back, oh, Berkman's somehow alive.
How much you want to bet he had planned for that and maybe had a friend or something, idea. Or maybe had his own gun hidden during the scene? Because that was in the boat.
Yeah. But again, we don't see what happened. We just know somehow Berkman survived.
Black screen, gunshot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, probably one of the other more important bad guys is Sophie. She is a clone of the original White Witch, which is there's the whole thing about the Izetta. They're trying
prophecy.
to present her as not prophecy.
It's a legend. Yeah,
Izetta. They're claiming she's the second coming of the White Witch, who's there's a whole folk tale about the defender of Elstadt, this witch who defended Elstadt from invaders and whatnot. But then there's the storybook version everyone knows, but then there's the real version of events, which is she got betrayed by the king and everything. She was betrayed because like his dying request was kill her.
Yep.
And yeah, so then the Germanians are able to get enough DNA to create a clone of her, who somehow the clone has the memories.
Yeah.
Which this is one of those things where this is sci-fi clone, so weird stuff like memories somehow transfer over.
Well, just chalk up to magic.
Yeah.
She's a witch. It's magic.
Magic and Nazi science, I guess.
Yeah. Which I guess is more magic.
Which is basically Wolfenstein.
Yeah. So,
but then so she's all pissed off and she wants to destroy Elstadt. Wants them all to suffer the way she did, that sort of thing.
Anime Wolfenstein.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing. But the thing is, the clones are unstable, so she's not probably going to last long. She's like, I don't care as long as I get to destroy Elstadt.
Yeah, and then there's a whole thing about the stone.
Yeah, there's a whole stone. There's a whole thing with the stone and everything because she's also upset about, kind of a little upset that Izetta is willing to help the humans out. Like, why are you being such an idiot? They'll betray you. She's so angry about this, and Izetta's like, no, I must protect Fine.
I must protect my life.
There's also a magic stone thing, which turns out there was half of it was buried away, which they gave to Sophie so she could actually wake up. Because at first she was just pretty much catatonic until she got blood, like magic blood.
Yep. And then Izetta's blood. Yeah. That was a weird scene.
Yeah, because they had plenty of Izetta's blood from way back when they had Izetta in their captivity.
Yeah, but then there's a scene at the dance
where she like kisses Izetta and then bites her lip, which is like, that's one way to get blood, I guess.
Are you like a vampire witch?
Yeah, even actually mentioned the word. I think Izetta said something about vampire because like, well, what else? That is a weird thing
to
come to do.
Thing, yes.
To bite me and draw blood and then swallow my blood. That is kind of a vampiric thing to do.
Yes,
and I mean, if witches exist, who's to say vampires don't?
Vampire with a Y.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a stone which apparently also it helps them like use magic and drain magic from the land, but also really is painful and will shorten your lifespan.
Yeah, because they use the concept of ley lines in this.
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of magical ley lines that run throughout the planet that you draw power from, and that's That's how the
And
witches
basically,
have
in
their
this,
power. And if you
witches
go
are just
to
conduits for magic. They don't have magic within them.
yeah, and if they move into an area that doesn't have a ley line, they can't cast magic. But the stone is able to pull in and store magic as well. But using it causes because it pulls in magic from the world, but it also pulls life force as well. So using it will let you use magic in places where you can't. It'll also keep other witches from using magic because it draws the magic away from them, but it also kills you at the whole time, and it will hurt the entire time it kills you.
Yep. And then turns out Mueller had his family was his ancestors were part of the whole betrayal of Sophie, and he was able to find the other half of that stone and give it to Izetta. And Izetta was injured pretty badly by Sophie.
Yeah.
Sophie came along and just wrecked her.
I think, if I remember correctly, it made Izetta a paraplegic.
Possibly.
They didn't really explain the exacts on how that worked, but she has a
very
lot
much
of difficulty using her legs.
And which way she was bedridden would take way too long for her to recover based off of everything going on. Because at this point, when she was just defeated, Elstadt fell very quickly.
Yeah.
And they're in hiding. But anyway, she got a power stone, got up. Not power stone, but yeah, they got her little magic stone. Yeah, got her magic stone, got up, and like started wrecking stuff again. And then she went and confronted Sophie, and there was a whole thing of just basically, I'm just going to get all the magic.
They spirit bombed each other.
Yeah, and Sophie's like, "Oh no, you know," and then they pretty much both. Again, that's the end of that. The magic.
Pulled all the magic from the world.
Because the other thing was the Germanians figured out how, because apparently one of the things is this magic stone can make an actual material, I'm trying to remember what they called that.
Yeah, it made this weird red crystal thing.
And I'm trying to remember what they called it. It was, it's like hexanium or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, then they were able to use it to make a bomb. Hey, look, they showed a demonstration, hey, look, that bomb looks suspiciously nuclear.
Yes, it does.
Anyway, they're going to fire it at they're going to use it and level Elstadt, or the capital of Elstadt, and they're threatening the world with it. See, we got this. We got plenty. We can build more. But then because Izetta and Sophie did their magic drain thing, well, the bombs just kind of fell down harmlessly.
Because the missiles, which were definitely based off of the V2, were not only holding a warhead of magic crystal, they were also launched and controlled by magic.
Yep. And then no more magic, so there's just
they had to pull a clone
empty metal tubes.
Yeah, they had to pull another clone out because Izetta distracted Sophie.
Yep. And then that clone died too because her
no more magic
went away. Yeah, and that whole thing was there. So yeah, those I guess was more of most of the main characters. You got some stuff like Lord Redford from Britannia and whatnot, but also there's Izetta's grandma. She was telling her that was the whole thing was the witch is viewed as the White Witch as a traitor. Because she helped the humans, and because that was the whole thing was they sent the White Witch, they gave her to the Inquisition.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's the fear, apparently the big fear was that the Catholic Church was going to come down on Elstadt for being a heretical country.
Yep.
And that no one could have that. So, at that point in time, the Catholic Church wielded serious power.
Yep, they were basically...
They pretty much controlled Europe
at
that point in time.
The superpower.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It's like, you must not be like the White Witch. You must not help humans. You must keep your thing secret. And that was like, yeah, but Fine, though.
Yeah, but... Yep.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is like, there's this whole weird thing there. It's like, Fine's like all freaked out, apologizing to Izetta because, making her have to kill and all this stuff. And it's like, and Izetta's just like, listen, I'm defending you in Elstadt. I got to do it.
Gotta do it.
And also, she doesn't ride a broom.
No.
She rides an anti-tank rifle.
That was so wonderful.
Gotta ride something.
Yeah.
This looks broom-like.
And it's interesting. The way her magic works, apparently they touch it and they can make it do things.
Yeah, stuff like that.
So it doesn't really matter if it's a broom, but they were falling out of the plane and it was an experimental rifle. If I was like, well, that'll work. Touch it and ride it around.
Yep, El carrying Fine. Who's shot and bleeding.
And then after they got back, they modified the gun to be easier to fly.
I actually think that was a different gun.
Really? Oh, well, they gave her...
She abandoned the Germanian gun and got
that's right.
Elstadt one.
And got an Elstadt.
They modified it.
A modified, so she could ride it and shoot it. And
it's got like foot pegs and everything.
It's like,
And the triggers now appear so she can, where she
It was a
handlebars.
handlebar. It was like a brake lever.
So she's able to fire this gun.
It's like that is,
And it's an anti-tank rifle, so
best.
it's got some serious power behind it.
also the fact that she can magic the
And then she's also
projectiles.
magicking like lances and swords.
That was
and then
amazing.
these massive custom swords.
as they're trying to get all the artifacts out of the castle and all these old medieval lances. Like, oh, and then she grabs them.
Yep.
Flies around launching them through things.
And using interweaving a bunch of swords as a shield against a tank shell.
Yep.
It's like, oh man.
Yep.
There's some cool stuff in there.
There's some really cool
There's some
stuff.
really cool scenes. The fight scenes and stuff are really nice. What was it I was thinking of beyond that? Music's also largely fantastic.
The music, the soundtrack is really good.
There's a particular leitmotif they use a lot, which I really like. Yeah, there's really good soundtrack. I think that a lot of the action scenes are also really well done for the most part. Their CG, the use is a lot better than a lot of anime does.
Yeah, I did notice the CG.
I mean, some of it's
sections,
obviously, of course, you're gonna do that
but
CG.
The
planes and tanks tend to be CG.
Yeah, it did fit in pretty darn well. I think they did a pretty good job at that.
Yeah, that whole thing, that was all pretty well done. What was I thinking? Oh, but yeah, I also liked a lot of the character interactions, of course. A lot of that also is really well done. You got like certain characters just have a familiarity. A lot of the characters, it makes sense. Certain characters have familiarity with each other versus, you got like Latte's kind of just super familiar with Fine and Bianca. She's very comfortable around them, and she's a very, very nice, outgoing person. Bianca's very guarded. And Fine's, kind of oscillating between, she has to be the leader of the country now because her dad died, and also just being a teenage girl and everything. And there's that whole struggle of her own, and also the whole occasional guilt about sending Izetta out to fight a war for her.
Yep. I think the characters were written very well.
The whole thing, they kept bringing up how Fine's a tomboy and all that stuff.
That was a common thing that they kept bringing up. It's like,
such a tomboy. It's like, okay,
such a tomboy, and apparently that had more significance than
I don't know. This was 1940 after all.
It was. Although they talked about it almost like a good thing.
Yeah.
So
that's the nice thing, is at the very least they,
it wasn't like something they were trying to suppress.
Yeah.
It was just something like, hey.
No, the other thing was Fine was willing to marry a Britannian prince in order to secure Britain's help.
Yeah.
Britannia's help. She was trying to, even though she had rejected him before, but well, if this is what it takes, so be it.
That's what. Yeah.
That's a thing. Even though later on, clearly, Izetta,
that ended up not being a.
Clearly, Izetta kind of became a priority for her. Yeah, because they had a little dance together.
Yep.
At one point, that was the same episode that Sophie bit Izetta.
Yep.
Yeah, with I think Fine was the one dressed up in the suit. Yeah.
Izetta. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Izetta was in the dress and Fine was in the suit.
Yep.
Yeah, and everyone's looking at it, it's like, it's pretty obvious.
Everyone in the room.
It's weird how like they didn't care, thinking about it. It's like, this is 1940. This is usually kind of would be something that would be a little discouraged, you'd think.
Yep, they didn't care.
Yeah.
There's a couple of interesting scenes, like some of the lighter scenes.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the was it the pie?
Oh yeah, the pie.
Pie.
Phoenix tries to sneak out to get some pie, but everyone knows it's Phoenix.
Everyone knows. Well, at least the guards know that it's a thing, and the owners of the store know it's a thing, but the other customers didn't.
Because she's just eating about, you enjoy your pie, Princess Phoenix? Oh yes.
Wait, and then accidentally.
And then everyone's like, oh my god, it's Phoenix and Izetta.
Yep.
Because she's so beloved and everything in her country. And then Izetta became a big deal because she defended them. And then they had there's a whole scene with they faked, because the Germanians were attacking, by coincidence, a spot with no ley line, so Izetta had no power. So what do? So they fake it.
Yep, they faked the power.
Faked it and scared them off with like explosions and gunshots and blah. Lots of smoke and mirrors.
Lots of smoke and mirrors and explosions.
Explosions
make everything better.
The other thing is this does not necessarily shy away from how bad war can get. I mean, they don't go completely like Save Private Ryan levels.
Oh, jeez.
But like they do show, like, you see just people get shot. There's stuff like this character is like, older soldier, commanding soldier, and a young, probably not legally enlisted soldier. he's kind of telling her, and then it's talking, and just there is no fanfare or anything, just shot, just
bam,
bullet through the head. And that's it. There's no like, oh no, there's no just, oh no, there's no time to grieve. There's no build up. It's just he's dead, and now you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting.
Yep,
it's that sort of thing. So I like that. How they did that. Yeah, so it's like it's not like reveling in the gore.
Yeah, there is a lot of violence, but it seems the violence is with purpose.
Yeah,
it's not gore for the sake of gore or shock value or anything like that.
Oh, the one bit the tank just runs over a dead soul. That was like, oof.
Yeah,
that was messed up.
That was.
We don't see anything, but still, it's like the implication is there. But yeah, it's also that weird thing. I was like, we're in the middle of war, but things are kind of quiet now, so let's kind of relax. Also, like, hey, reason why the pie is so important, there's a sugar shortage because it's the war.
Yep.
Whatnot. And of course, you got the other interesting thing, which is like United States of Atlanta here. It's like, they're like, we got to help Elstep, but we also got to be careful because they got something, and we got to be ready for them to turn into an enemy at any moment.
Yep.
Because that's the American thing to do.
That is an American thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, the resolution on that one is, don't worry about it. They're not going to exist after this.
Yeah. Magic's gone. Yeah. Izetta wipes out all the magic in the world. So because they... Yeah, because Izetta's like, we unleashed this thing. We opened Pandora's box.
And usually, you can't close the box.
We'll just blow up the box.
Yeah.
There was one thing. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it is an alternate universe thing. So it's just kind of it's kind of a weird thing when you think about like they're just kind of alternate universe Europe.
Yep. It's alternate universe World War II.
Actually Nazis, but they might as well be Nazis.
There's also the whole, it's alternate universe World War II, but conveniently doesn't have anything of the Pacific theater.
No, shut up. Well, it did take us in 1940. At that point, Japan was only invading pretty much China and large mainland Asia, and the U.S. would not fight Japan until 1941.
Yeah. But it was never a thing.
Not mentioned. We're just not even talking about that. So, who knows? Because the way that was framed, it's possible that popped up later.
Maybe.
Things were resolved in Europe, and now, hey, look, there's new conflict popping up in the Pacific. Or, well, in this particular thing, with Germany defeated, it was like, we probably shouldn't attack the U.S. right now. We have no backup.
Yeah.
The other thing, the reason they're invading Elstadt was because it was in the way, because they want to make sure to have a nice supply line between them and Italy.
Yep.
Who were also allied with the Germans at the time.
They even mentioned the whole attacking of Ethiopia, too.
Yeah, and the African campaign and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like the interesting thing is like those things are like the differences and the similarities to the real world events. Like again that they're using the real world, like Hitler's kind of obsession with the cult. Hey, kind of got an obsession with magic and witches and stuff here.
Yep.
They mentioned concentration camps, although they didn't mention any of the details. But there was a concentration camp, so you can suss up from there. There was, again, the U.S. is kind of like, we're helping Britain, but we don't want to really get involved. That's a European war. Because at the time, remember, the whole thing was the U.S. populace was very much opposed to getting involved because that's not our business. We want to stay over here nice and away from things. Whereas, like, a lot of people like Roosevelt were like, we got to get involved because they're going to come here if we don't.
Yep. So that's why we had the whole, we're not going to officially join, but we're going to give Britain weapons.
Yep. Weapon armaments and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah. Even because in this France was already defeated. And they even had a bit where it's like there's the French resistance is now inspired to take more action against the Germanians because of Izetta.
Yeah, the whole thing with the train.
Yeah. And there's a whole that was the other cool sequence, kind of cool sequence at the beginning with the train and Izetta and all that, and the bodyguards. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, because a lot of, again, like the Germanian uniforms look suspiciously like the real world ones. Yeah. And they even had the SS.
Yeah, and the logo that they were using was a modified Iron Cross.
Mm-hmm. They didn't use the other one.
They used it's like half of an Iron Cross mixed with half of something else, and then they put it with the long wing badge things.
Yep.
Yeah. Very much inspired by World War II.
Yeah, the other thing I remember, to kind of talk about how this D-Day happened in 1940 and whatnot. And it's like the war ended pretty quickly, and it's imagine without Izetta, it's like how many more years of war would have lasted. It's
yeah,
a little on the nose, don't you think?
A little bit on the nose,
but yeah, I get it. It's kind of just a little nudge and wink to the audience, like, I get it. You get it yet?
Yeah, we get it.
One thing. I remember when I first watched this, I was a little at first upset about was, did they really just use the bury our gays trope with Izetta? It looks like Izetta died.
Right, at the very end.
Because it looked like Izetta died when she did the whole magic spirit bomb thing.
Yep.
Because that was the whole thing. It's like, it's wrecking her body. So it's like, oh, she fell out of the sky. She's probably dead. And then I was like, kind of upset. I was like, oh, are you serious? Because there's a whole episode before that. It was like, there's a bit where Izetta and Fine clearly had a romantic date thing going on. And possibly kissed. That's one of those things that's still debated, whether or not they kissed or not in the scene, because they're intentionally drawn really small and moving fast. So it's like it's difficult, but they move in such a way that looks like their faces got closer enough to each other they might have kissed. It's annoying.
It's enough for me.
Close enough. But yeah, so I was like, what? Really? You're just going to kill off? What? That's stupid. Then, oh, wait. The little epilogue. Where Fine's walking out to the same cabin, woods where she met Zeta, and then, hey, there's a latte, and then, hey, there's someone
in a wheelchair with red hair.
We don't see her face, but we see someone with red hair in a wheelchair. Oh, Izetta survived. Granted, there's a whole thing which they talked about how the magic stone does
it shortens your lifespan.
So it's probably a good chance she will never walk again and might not live much longer, but she's alive. That's important, at least. That's nice.
Yep.
And she's out in the cabin, so who knows how many people know she's alive and all that stuff.
Yeah, they don't talk about that at all.
It's just a little thing like, see, Izzetta's alive. And Fine still visits her. And also the corgi.
Because you have to have a corgi.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. This is I really like this one a lot. I know some people aren't as thrilled with it. I know there's some people who are kind of against it and whatnot, and maybe I would argue that there probably are better anime out there, and even some somewhat same vein. But I think some comes from people misrepresenting what it is. I think some people, the problem is the thing is they really play up the relationship between Izetta and Fine as if it's the center thing, when it's kind of is a secondary part of the story.
I mean, it's important to the story.
It's important, but it's not
the primary plot.
Yeah, so they kind of, because of that, people get a little disappointed with that. There's some people who are upset. I saw someone who was upset because they just Nazis were in it at all. It's like,
right.
Well, they're the bad guys though, so like, I'm not seeing a problem here. They're the bad guys. They're clearly the bad guys. They don't even pretend they at all have any good points.
Yeah.
And I did like the one scene, the like Germanian general and like the Air Force guy or whatever, kind of like, oh, we're gonna celebrate. They're all laughing, and then we lost.
Wait, what?
What do you mean we lost?
They're having bets on whether they would the two different
branches
would need
who
the
would
other.
Be the one who
yeah.
And it's like, what?
And then they lost because suddenly a witch showed up and wrecked the entire invading army.
Yeah.
That wasn't expected.
I'm shocked. I just generally really like this one a lot.
It was good. I enjoyed it as well.
I even bought a Nendo. It was my first legitimate Nendo I bought. Was Izetta.
Yep.
Because I had a Ryoko Nendo, but that was a bootleg, and I tossed that the second I got a real one. Because the bootleg was crap.
Yeah, that was not a very good bootleg.
Most of them aren't.
That's why they're cheap.
Yeah, it's like, hey, see, I remember that. If you see a Nendoroid for like $10 on eBay, it's in the sellers in China, it's probably fake.
Yeah,
it's almost certain it's fake. But if you don't mind, then
I mean, if that's all you can afford, that I guess it's better than nothing. But
maybe I don't know. Some of those bootlegs are like they're pretty bad. It's like, I'm not sure this was worth spending any money on at all. But anyway, yeah. I would recommend checking it out if you haven't already. It's it's one of those things where it's like, I'm trying to think. It's not like overt with the relationship and stuff, but still good. I just think it's got nice action. The characters are pretty well written. I like how they play with, I guess, this alternate history thing. It's just a lot about it. It's really nice. And again, the music's superb.
Yeah.
And it also got a really nice OP. Again, partially because of music and just be. I always say that some of the OP does again kind of lean hard into some fan servicey stuff. Unfortunately, but music itself is good.
That's probably the biggest downfall of the entire thing.
Definitely, particularly the first half.
Yeah,
is like they really lean hard into the fan servicey stuff at times. Other times they kind of lighten up. Like, guys, hey, we're gonna have Izetta again fitting into a corset, so we're gonna have her focus on her chest.
Yeah,
chest bouncing a little bit while she gets. And it's like she's 15. They literally say her age in the anime itself. She's 15. What are you doing?
Don't do that.
And don't try to justify, it was a different time. It was 1940s.
Just because it was acceptable doesn't mean it was right.
That whole thing of like, what's an adult and all that stuff. It's like, because there was a point in time where we were considered an adult much younger than you are now.
13 back in the day,
yeah. So but then you're 20, by modern standards, like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
There's some neat stuff, and I do also kind of like some of the way they presented a lot of the lore as well, for the show, like about the White Witch and everything.
Yep. It was very well done. Very very good execution on a lot of it. The writing was really good. The dialogue, the lore, all of it. It was really well done.
Yeah. So it's I recommend it for sure.
Yep.
I don't think that the weird thing is it's not based on a manga or anything. It's its own original story, and it's a standalone thing. There's probably not going to be ever more. I mean, I would never say never, but it's almost certain there won't be any more. But it's a nice little standalone thing. It's 12 episodes long, and it's a great little show to watch.
Yeah.
So
go check it out.
Yeah, go check that out for sure. So that's it for I guess this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. All that stuff. If you want to check out other episodes, you can go to newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. That's spelled Libsyn. At this point, there are, that is a recording, there will be 12. Once this one's done and out, there will be 12 total. Because, we've been around for basically a year now. Yeah, that will be picking up pretty soon. Because we're going to be cranking up that thing. Yeah, you check us out there. You can check us out on other places that are also there. If you want, you could go to iTunes, you can Google Play, Spotify, or YouTube, and any of there, search for New to Weeaboo. You can find us any of there, subscribe at any of those places on YouTube. You like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff is all available there on there. And also on there are the contacts, including our email, which is newtoweeaboo@gmail.com. What did you think of this one? Did you like it? Did you like Izetta? Do you not like Izetta? Is there a particular reason for it? Do you have any recommendations for us to something to watch? We might go ahead and put it on the docket, and we'll watch it when we get a chance to, because we do have things scheduled out pretty far in advance. So it might be a while before we get to it. We'll get to it eventually, if you give us a good suggestion. Unless it's something crap. If any of you say something like Aiken or Boku no Pico, I will say no.
No.
I know better. I'm not that new to this.
Yeah, we might be new, but
I'm not stupid. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. We're also on Twitter at New to Weeaboo, and that's where we'll try to post more. I'm trying to, hopefully, because of our increased output, we'll be able to also tweet more. That should be that's the idea anyway.
That's the idea. We'll see about the execution.
We'll see how all that goes. So that's you can see, so you can see us there. You can also follow personal Twitters. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. He's at Alca7raz _ at the end. I mostly tweet about Transformers. Surprise.
Surprise.
I like Transformers a lot. Also, we'll occasionally tweet out things like VR or video games or whatever, because I got VR now. So that's it. You don't tweet much.
I don't tweet much, though I did just tweet, 4 days ago? Last tweet was 4 days ago.
Hooray.
On the 7th, I made a little clock.
Hooray.
Hooray. I tweeted something.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode. Join us in a couple weeks. Yes, because we're going bi-weekly, and that means sometimes we'll be 3 episodes in a month. Because that's just how things are.
Long months.
Yeah, there's a month-long month. So, but yeah, in a couple weeks, that will be the episode for the 29th. We'll be talking about Sailor Moon. We figured out how to talk about Sailor Moon. We're gonna do it.
Be insane, but we're gonna figure out how to do it.
We figured out how to do it. We're gonna do Sailor Moon, so it's gonna be a fun time. I think. Gonna be doing an old classic. So join us then. And
I've never seen it. This will be my first time seeing it.
I've only just recently watched it for the first time, so it's gonna be interesting. See how that goes.
We'll see how it goes.
So, hope you tune in then. But until next time, bye.
See ya.